What's up, world? This is your guy, Guitar K. Look, man, today's video is called God's Gifts That We Leave Unopened. Look, I'm talking about the gifts that God put inside of us, the gifts that we all born with, but for some reason, we go through life leaving them unopened, man. Look, matter of fact, I'm gonna have to come up out the shades for this one. I need to see my people eye to eye on this good Sunday morning. This is the day that the Lord has made. Be blessed in it. Look, man, if you're alive, if you're breathing, you're blessed whether you know it or not. But look, check this out. This is how I got the idea for this video. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was talking about how she got her son a guitar like 3 years ago because he really wanted it. You know, for some reason, he seen something on TV or a video and he got inspired. He wanted to learn how to play guitar. He got it on Christmas. And she said by the middle of January, he was done with it. Now she got him this gift, but for some reason, he lost inspiration. He didn't want to practice. He didn't want to build on that gift that she got him. And it's the same thing that we do with all the gifts that God give us, man. God gives us everything that we need to be who we're supposed to be in this world. But for some reason, we start looking on the outside. We start looking at what other people got. And we don't never reach our full potential because we don't never open up the gifts that's already inside of us. Look, you are enough. You are who you're supposed to be. Everything that you need, you was born with it. All you need to do is practice on it, build it up, build up everything that's inside of you, and you will get everything that you want. I'm telling you, man, this is going to be a great video. I'm glad you tuned in today. Look, man, you know how whenever you do happen to go to church, I'm talking to the people that rarely go. Let's say you only go on a holiday. You only go when somebody invites you. But when you do go, you be like, man, that's just the message I needed to hear. Or it felt like he was talking to me. Reason being, because we always need to hear a message. It's always a word that we need to hear because we always need to grow. Our gifts need to be watered. It's like grass, man. Look, if you don't take care of your gifts, if you don't hone your gifts, if you don't practice them, they die. They go away. They get weak. They're there, but you got to cultivate them things, man. You got to use them. If you don't use it, you lose it. You're born with it, man, and they only get better. And the more you use them, the better they become. Look, man, in recovery, they say that if you don't use it, you lose it. They say in order to keep what we have, you have to give it away. And look, if you don't have nothing to give, what good are you? And look, the better you become at these gifts, the better you're going to be for yourself because you got to practice them. The better person that you become, the more able you are to help others. So you're by proxy, you're going to become good at the things that you're trying to give away. You're going to become good at the things that you're trying to teach others, man. Look, man. And what are these gifts that I'm talking about? Well, the basis of these gifts is the fruit of the Spirit. Look, man. And when we're talking about these things, so many times we look at these things as weakness or things that, why would I want to do this? Because nobody else is doing these things. Nobody else is being nice. Nobody else is being kind. Look, man, we ain't talking about what everybody else is doing. You do it because it's good for you. Look, man, let's start by talking about what is the fruit of the Spirit. Because a lot of people don't even know. You heard these words, but you don't really know that they are the fruits of the Spirit and that they are good for you. They water your spirit. They help you grow. They help you become the best version of yourself when you practice these things, man. I'm telling you, you better get on this. This is some good information. Look, the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Look, man, when you practice those things, you will become a king. You will become the best person in the class. You will become the best person at the job. Look, with those things built up in you and practicing them every day, it's nothing you can't accomplish. With those things inside of you, it's nothing under the sun, moon, and stars that you can't accomplish, man. But so many people want to start from the outside And they never get to those things because they so focused on the world. They so focused on material things. I'm telling you, with those things, everything will be at your fingertips, man. Look, in John chapter 15, he's preaching, right? And he's telling people that he is the vine. The vine, not divine. He's also divine, but sometimes, our Baltimore slang, our words can be kind of, I know, we talk kind of crazy, but look, he's the vine or the vine. And he's saying that in order to bear fruit, you have to be connected to the vine. So the question is, what are you connected to today? How are you bearing any fruit if you're not connected to the source? And I mean constantly, man. So in order to practice those fruits, you have to be connected to something good. If you're only connected to negativity, if you're only connected to greed, if you're only connected to the world and your focus is only on greed and money and lust and all the sinful things, then that's the type of fruit you're going to bear. And you're wondering, why come things always happening to me? How come I'm always catching a bad break? Why I'm always catching myself in some crazy situations? Because whatever your source that you're connected to is probably a crazy source. Your foundation ain't strong. Your foundation is not the vine. Your foundation is not the fruit of the Spirit. See, if your foundation is that fruit of the Spirit, like I said, man, you're going to do great things. You're going to go far. Look, man. Like I said, we so focused on the outside, looking for gifts on the outside. Everybody want to get a gift. Some want somebody else to give them a gift. They want a gift that comes from the outside, a worldly gift, a material gift. When all the gifts that you need, you was born with them. But all you got to do is practice them. I'm telling you, man, a man's gift will open doors for him. Your gifts and talents, the things that you like to do, ask yourself, it's something that you like to do, that you just do naturally, that you were just born with it. That people just tell you like, hey man, you know what? You're pretty good at that. You got a knack for that. That thing just comes to you naturally. Look, man, that's the thing that you need to be focused on. That's the thing that you need to practice. And it comes in all different things. But we look at what somebody else is doing and we want to do what they do, and we dim our own lights. We kill our own spirit and we kill our own passion by wanting to do what this person's doing. And a lot of times, man, what that person is doing might not be for you. You might be a good giver. You might be a good teacher. You might be a good provider. Look, I don't know what yours is. I'm just throwing out some examples of people that I know that they're real good at that thing, but for some reason they waste so much time trying to be what they see this other person being. Don't do that. Start with love. Start with joy, peace, kindness, passion, purpose for what you like to do. And when you discover yourself, when you discover your own passion and purpose, I'm telling you, there's going to be a fire burning inside of you. There ain't nobody going to be able to stop you. You're going to become unstoppable. You ain't going to want to stop because you're going to love what you're doing. They say when you love what you do, you're never at work. You're never working because it's just what you would do anyway. And when you can start to get paid for what you love to do, for what you find joy and peace and goodness, you're going to be faithful to it. You're going to have self-control because you're not going to want to ruin what you're doing. Look, man, like I said, the only way to keep what we have is to give it away. And the only way to be good enough to give something away is to keep up on it. It's to practice it. You got to practice those gifts, man. Start to open these gifts of peace. Start to open these gifts of joy and give them away. And when you give them away, they're going to be returned to you. Everybody looking for a good partner or a good relationship. First of all, you got to be a good partner. You got to be good at relationships. In order to have good kids, you got to be a good parent. In order to have a good parent relationship, you got to be a good kid. In order to have a good job, you got to be a good employee. Look, man, look. I'm telling you, these things are key to opening up doors in life. Your gifts and talents will open up doors for you, man. Stop ripping and running through the world thinking that everything's supposed to be given to you. Things will be given to you upon what you give. The work that you put in is where you bear fruit. Look, man, a farmer can't just sit and watch his fields and think something going to grow. You got to sow seeds. And the good thing is that God has given you all the gifts you need to sow seeds. I'm telling you, when you're sowing in joy, when you're sowing in love, when you're patient, when you wait for that thing to grow to its full size, it's going to be worth something. It's going to be valuable. People just going to come. If you build it, they will come, man. Look, man, I'm telling you, man, when you're rocking with the right people and you are right, look, man, Miss Lauryn Hill had a line in her song, look, man, until you do right, everything will go wrong. And if you know that you're connected to wrong, look, man, look at the people you surround yourself with. Look at what your mission is, what your purpose is. Look, what is your mission statement? What do you want out of life? What is the ultimate goal? If it's only to get yourself personal stuff and personal gain, then I mean, it's no wonder you keep tripping and stumbling and bumbling, because what the value of what you're giving out is not, it ain't really worth nothing. But if you're giving out peace and you're giving out love, you're giving out joy, man, people are going to be attracted to that thing, man. Look, man, that's attraction over promotion. You do, look, man, whatever, look, I don't even care what you're selling. If you're selling it out of love, kindness, and peace, man, that thing will sell itself. Like I said, we have so many gifts in us that is unopened. We have so much untapped potential. Your dreams is tied to your passion and purpose. And if you don't start to hone them things and just work on yourself, build yourself up, then you can reach your dreams, man. Look. We reach our dreams because of our habits. Look, man, most people don't get to where they want to go. It's not because the dream is too big. It's because your habits is bad. Those fruits of the spirit will get you into practicing of good habits, and it'll keep you from not practicing bad habits. Like I said, man, on this Sunday morning, I'm not preaching. I'm not really even teaching. I'm just sharing some information that was shared to me. We all have gifts in us that we have yet to open. Start opening up those gifts. They're for you to give away. And when you give them away, everything will be returned to you tenfold. Open up your gifts. Start working on them. Start practicing them. Start practicing those fruits of the spirit. Again, practice love. Practice joy. Practice peace. Practice kindness. Practice faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And you're going to be all right. This is your guy, Guitar K. Look, man, we all got gifts. Open them things up. Imagine if it was January 1st and ain't nobody open up their gifts. Those gifts ain't worth nothing. Left under the tree, I don't even know if they really gifts. They just some things that's in some boxes that's wrapped up in some paper. What are they worth? Nothing. Open up your gifts, man. Start sharing them things. Start spreading them out. This is your guy, Guitar K. Be more